All right, welcome everybody to Understanding Rehabilitation. Today is December 4th, 2020. All right, so before we start today, just wanted to just introduce myself. My name is Michael Cisneros. I'm a training coordinator with CalTAP. We are putting on this webinar in partnership with College of the Canyons. We definitely want to thank Renard Thomas for helping us out with getting this set up. You should have received a couple emails either yesterday or today. Within those emails, there were links to some resources that we wanted to give out to the veterans. Those resources were a link to your PDF copy of your Veterans Resource Book. There was a link to a PDF copy of your linked map, and then instructions on how to use the chat. When it comes to the chat, we have it so that all questions will be diverted to our host, and our host will take those questions and use those to facilitate the questions and answers portion at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions for any of the presenters, please hold them either direct them to the host or hold them until the end of the webinar. After we're done presenting, we'll go ahead and start the questions and answers panel. Sorry. So this is the instructions for the chat. Like I said, you should have received this PDF in your email, and we'll also put it in the chat right now so that you can have a copy of it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to do a quick overview of the CalTAP program. It's going to be super quick because we have the bulk of the webinar is going to be for the VRE program and the Department of Rehabilitation. So if you have any questions about what I go over today, please do not hesitate to reach out. My contact information will be at the end of this segment. So what is CalTAP? Well, CalTAP is a transition assistance program that's designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits, as well as provide continuous support as their needs change over time. And so what we've done at CalTAP is we've developed pathways that help our veterans navigate those benefits. Those pathways are an entrepreneurship pathway, it's an employment pathway, we have an education pathway, and then there's also a general core curriculum, which has the benefits that don't fall into either one of those subjects that I just mentioned. We also have a service provider pathway that we usually don't talk about, but if you know anybody within your community that does want to work with veterans, feel free to send them to our website. We have programs out there that allow those individuals to meet those goals. These workshops are usually put on in person. However, since March or April, we've switched to webinars because of the pandemic. So now, on top of in-person workshops, which we used to do, we are also now hosting webinars for colleges and DoD installations around California. And then you can also find this information on our website. So this is what that Veterans Resource Book looks like. Like I said, you received a PDF copy in your email. You can also find this book on our website. I believe, although we don't have a link. So if you go to our website, calvet.ca.gov, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you'll find a link for this book. So if you, for some reason, didn't receive any emails last night or today, you could always go to our website to find this there. Information about the CalTAP program can be found also on our website. You see the CalTAP banner right there on the homepage. If you click on that, you will be taken to our pathways page. And as you can see, the education, entrepreneurship, employment, core curriculum pathway are all right there. Before we move forward though, I just want to talk about what we've been doing. So like I said, we started the webinars back in April. March or April. If you go to this page and you click on that archives link down at the bottom, you are taken to our past webinars page. So all the webinars that we've put up with the colleges around California, or webinars that we put up ourselves, recordings along with the PDF copy of the PowerPoint can be found right there. So we've done everything from financial literacy to mental health, employment. So check it out if you want to get more resources for California veterans. So how do you use CalTAP online? So in this example, we use the core curriculum. if you go to our pathways page and you click on one of the pathways, like the core curriculum pathway, you're taken to a modules page. And each pathway has a ton of different modules that you could check out. This module or this pathway has modules on the VA healthcare system, how to file claims and compensations. I think there's one on financial literacy down at the bottom and naturalizations services. But if you're just interested in what your California benefits are, you could always click on Module 5. Module 5 will take you to a lessons page, and on that lessons page, you can find a PDF that breaks down your benefits, and it looks like this. The PDF doesn't actually, it gives good information, but if you're looking for total information, I would definitely recommend checking out your Veterans Resource Book. All right, so what are those benefits? Well, on your Veterans Resource Book, this starts on Chapter 1, page 13. And then, like I said, you could also get that PDF copy. But one of the main ones that we usually have veterans ask about is the college tuition and fee waiver. Now, the college tuition and fee waiver is a fee waiver that's for child dependents. So it's not necessarily for the veteran. And the veteran does have to have a disability rating Now, with the college tuition and fee waiver, there are 4 different plans. There's Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D. Most veterans fall into Plan B, and this is because that disability rating requires a rating between 0 and 100. So because of that broad spectrum, we see more veterans fall there. They do take a look at the dependent's income level just to make sure that it's below the national poverty level. But other than that, you could use this benefit. The child dependent can use this benefit whenever they'd like. If you have a spouse that wants to use this benefit, there is a way that they can do it. You just have to see if you're eligible for Plan A, Plan C, or Plan D. If that's the case, then you can split this benefit with your spouse and your dependents, or either or. It waives all tuition and fees at any state-funded school, and it saves our veterans over $35 million a year in tuition fee costs. We've also partnered with the DMV to make it easier for individuals to identify as a veteran. So the Veteran Driver's License program is there so that you can have the word veteran printed on your driver's license. So this just makes it easier for you to identify yourself in like movie theaters or grocery stores, wherever those places that give discounts. And you don't have to worry about carrying around a DD Form 214 in your pocket anymore. That has a lot of personal information, so I know I wouldn't want to have my social security number floating around my back pocket. Honoring Veterans License Plate Program. This is available to anybody in California. So these are those license plates that you see driving around with like an Air Force logo on it, or the Marines emblem. These are the license plate program. All proceeds for this program go to veteran services here in California. So this is what helps fund your CVSOs within your area. And then there's a motor vehicle registration fee waiver that we don't talk much about. But if you think that you may be eligible for it, I would definitely recommend talking with a CVSO. For those of you who like to be outdoors, we have fishing and hunting license at a reduced annual fee, or at a reduced annual cost. As long as you have a 50% disability rating and you are honorably discharged, you are eligible for this benefit. We have a state park pass also that allows you to get into the state parks for free. This just changed recently. I believe now you're able to get into any state park pass in the country. But you do have to have a 50% disability rating and honorably discharged also to use this benefit. Tax programs are out there for veterans with disabilities or veterans who want to open up their own businesses. We don't talk about tax programs too much just because they're different across California. But if you are interested in any one of these programs, I would recommend speaking with your local county tax assessor, and they could talk about eligibility requirements. Our home loans, Calvet home loans. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the Calvet home loans program is different than the VA home loan program. Our Calvet home loans program provides financing for veterans. It's competitive. They offer competitive market interest rates, and there's low or no down payment requirements. It's a pretty cool program. We have somebody who usually does these webinars with us. His name is Brad Pedersen. He loves helping veterans out, getting them into new homes. So if you are in the market to buy a home in California, reach out to him. He will answer all your questions, and we'll go ahead and put his information in the chat also, so you can have that with you. All right, and then for our women veterans, we have a program that provides advocacy, outreach, and support. And they've also partnered with the Women Veterans Leadership Council, just so that women veterans have more opportunities within California. You can find more information on their webpage at the CalVet website under Women Veterans. Now, Women Veterans also has a roster that you could sign up on, and if you are getting emails from that roster, you're up to date with the webinars that they're hosting and any outreach opportunities that come up. And for our minority vets, we have a program that pretty much does the same thing. It provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support. And they also help with naturalization and citizenship services. You can find their webpage, the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans webpage, on our website also. All right, now homes for long-term care. You're probably not looking at this right now or thinking about homes for long-term care, but they are out there. We have homes all the way down south in Chula Vista to Redding up north, and these homes offer veterans medical, dental, pharmacy, rehabilitation, and also social activities. And our state cemeteries, again, another benefit that you're probably not thinking about right now. But if you have somebody in your community or a family member that's a veteran that needs a home or needs a state cemetery, they are out there. We have 3 in California. The one in Seaside, California, which is right outside of Monterey. There's one in Redding, and then there's also the Yountville Veterans Home Cemetery, which is right outside of Napa. You do have to be a resident of the Yountville Veteran Home Cemetery. You do have to be a resident of the Yountville Veteran Home to be buried at that cemetery. All right. So before I end this, I just want to give you some quick websites that you as a veteran should be familiar with. VA.gov is one of the main ones. I kind of think of this as like a hub for veterans. Whatever you're interested in, whether it's education benefits, taking advantage of the healthcare, filing a disability claim, or even checking out your records, this website will direct you to the places you need to go. And then there's also e-benefits. E-benefits is for those who are taking advantage of, education benefits, or even disability compensation. You'll come here and you can check out what's going on with those status, or you can see what the status is for those processes. So when I was a student, I would log on here to check out, what's going on with certifying my classes, or did they cut the check for my BAH every month, so you can find that information out there. And then finally, there's My Healthy Vet. My Healthy Vet is for those who are taking advantage of the VA healthcare system. The VA healthcare system, or with My Healthy Vet, you are able to check out your medical records. You could create appointments with your primary care physician or message them, and then also refill prescriptions. So that was just a quick overview of the CalTAP program and of the benefits available to you as a California veteran. Like I said, there's a ton out there, and there's more that we didn't discuss today. So if you have any questions about what's available to you, feel free to email me. That's my contact information right there, or just give that 1-800 number a call, and we could direct you to anybody that can help you out. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it on to Anthony. Anthony is our local interagency network coordinator for the Los Angeles region, and he's going how they assist veterans throughout California. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, well, great to be here. Good morning, everybody. And as was mentioned, my name is Anthony Rodriguez, and I'm with CalVet. I'm the local link. I cover actually Los Angeles, Ventura County, and I'm a former Marine. I was active duty about 8.5 years, active and reserve, served on the East Coast. So let's go right into it. And next page, please. So as I mentioned, I'm a link, and links are located throughout the state. There's 8 of us statewide. And if you happen to know someone in another part of the state who needs assistance with connection with benefits, this is a great source. So on this map, you can see the names and email addresses of others who have my position throughout the state. My position is in the purple, or rather the turquoise toward the bottom. and we're strategically placed throughout the state. We approximately look over an area of around 250 to 300,000 veterans in each of our respective regions. Next page. So we do provide outreach, as I mentioned. We make lots of referrals. We assist with emergencies. We provide leadership with local associations. Um, and really what they have us do, the reason we're here is our assignment really is to live in the community and to learn and know and be a part of the veteran benefits community, so that when a veteran is looking for benefits, in particular state benefits, with related to veterans, but when they're looking for benefits, that we can be someone to provide them answers rather than a toll-free number or a URL. Hopefully the case is that we know individuals in each section where we can make recommendations to assist you. Next page. Yeah, these are some of the most common areas where we get questions as links, and these are specifics to where we might help you. So for example, what's the difference between VA education and California educational benefits? We're going to have a great speaker come up after me later to talk about some of the one particular type of VA benefits, but in general, what are they? And overall, how does the VA work? It can be very complicated, understand in general. Also, I get asked all the time if I have contacts specifically with healthcare or mental health or employment or educational programs, be them public or private. I get asked differences between the VA and the CalVet home loan program. I make referrals to Brad, but I can answer some generally basic questions for them. I also have a lot of contacts with the community colleges, the Cal States, and the UCs, as I'm a member of the Veteran Resource Center directories, the Resource Center regions, where they have the directors meet on a monthly basis. So you can read, there's other things that I do, distinctions and benefits between National Guard, Reserve, and active duty, and other things as well. So we work very hard at providing information to you should you need it, you or anybody in your staff, and you're welcome to give us a call. Next page, please. This is my contact information. So there's my working cell number and my email address. And in particular, if you're in the Los Angeles, Ventura County area, I'm definitely the one to help you. But if you're outside that area, we can give you some general information or direct you to someone as well. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to Michael. We'll go from there.
Ooh, all right. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. Anthony's a good resource for veterans out there, especially within the LA region. Please use him if you're looking to at least get started with applying for benefits. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Mara Kasdan. Mara is with the Veterans Affairs, and she's going to talk to you about the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program and how they can work with veterans in California and more specifically, maybe student veterans. Go ahead, Mara.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Mara Kasdan. I am with the Veterans Office at the LA office, regional office. And what I will be reviewing is Chapter 31, which you may or may not be familiar with. Next slide, please. So just real quick, so I am a Vet Success on Campus counselor, a VSOC, and what it means is that I am located at 2 college campuses. One of the college campuses as a VA rep on campus is Citrus College and also Mount San Antonio College. But also as a VSOC, I am also a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And the VSOC program does fall under the Veteran Readiness and Employment Division, and I am part of the Los Angeles Regional Office. So Chapter 31 is, if a veteran has a service-connected disability that limits his or her ability to work or prevents him or her from working, Veteran Readiness and Employment, formerly known as Vocational Rehab and Employment, we just recently had a name change from Voc Rehab to Veteran Readiness. This program can help. also known as Chapter 31 or VRNE, helps veterans explore employment options and address training needs. So Chapter 31 is to assist veterans who are service connected and helping them with employment and also, if needed, with training. Next slide, please. So what is eligibility to Chapter 31? Chapter 31 has there's two steps. One is, are you eligible to apply? The next step is, if you're eligible to apply, is, well, are you entitled to Chapter 31 services? To be eligible, you need to have at least a minimum of 10% service-connected disability rating and did not receive a dishonorable discharge. Now, there are two different types of, so to apply, you just need a 10% service-connected disability rating overall at a minimum. But if you are only have a rating of 10%, for entitlement to Chapter 31, if you are found to have an employment handicap, you also need to have a serious employment handicap for entitlement. That's only if you're rated 10% overall. Okay, if you are rated at least at a minimum of 20% or more, the serious employment handicap SEH may or may not apply. But if the employment handicap is identified, then you would be entitled to Chapter 31. So 10% overall, you need to have a serious employment handicap for entitlement. If you're at least 20% or more, the SEH may or may not apply. Okay. To apply to Chapter 31, you can apply via e-benefits. Eventually, e-benefits will fade out, and it's going to move primarily to va.gov. As Michael reviewed earlier, you have e-benefits, but also va.gov. But for right now, to apply to Chapter 31, you can apply through e-benefits. Now, eligibility to Chapter 31 services. A veteran has at least 12 years to apply to Chapter 31, and those 12 years begin when you first receive your VA rating notification. That's when the 12 years would start for you to be able to apply to Chapter 31. Sometimes veterans may say have an increase in the rating decision or their service-connected disability. It wouldn't start at the increase. It would start at your first rating notification. That's when the 12 years would start for you to be able to apply to Chapter 31. Now, if your 12 years have expired for you to apply to Chapter 31, you can still apply. However, there's a different criteria to determine if you can go beyond the 12 years. Okay, next slide. Now, once you submit your application, you will be assigned, and your application is processed, the veteran would be assigned to a vocational rehabilitation counselor, VRC. The VRC will then schedule the veteran for an initial evaluation. This is the second part of Chapter 31, is at the initial evaluation, is the veteran entitled to services. The initial evaluations right now, due to the pandemic, they're 100% via tele-counseling. Prior to the pandemic, we had just started doing the tele-counseling appointments, and it was more so to, if veterans resided, for example, in Bakersfield, and their assigned counselor was at the LA regional office at the federal building, they wouldn't have to drive for, on the 405, there's a lot of traffic, and not have to be in traffic for over an hour or 2 hours. And sometimes veterans, they might have service-connected disabilities for their back or their knees, and they can't sit for a long time. So we had transitioned to the telecounseling, and we had received good feedback from the telecounseling. Veterans that didn't have to drive far distances. Now, the counselor would, as I mentioned, would contact you via email to send the appointment letter or via postal mail. They would send a rehabilitation rehabilitation needs inventory packet, and also the career scope. The career scope is an assessment that measures your interests and your aptitudes, and you will also need to provide your transcripts and resume. And then send the documentations to the VRC prior to your appointment, because the counselor will review your information and have it readily available to review with you at the initial evaluation. Next slide. Now, there are 5 tracks to VRE. The reemployment track, this is for veterans who, after they have been discharged, they want to return to their former employer. This is a track that they would pursue. There's rapid access to employment. What this track is, if the veteran already has the necessary skills, education, to look for suitable employment, they would pursue the rapid access to employment track. There's also self-employment. With this track, there's 2 categories. There's category 1 and category 2. With category 1, it's for veterans who their disabilities are severe, where the only option for employment is self-employment. Then the second category is if veterans who express an interest in self-employment, they don't, their disabilities are not necessarily as severe, and so those are the 2 categories. Okay. Now, employment through long-term services, this is the most common track that veterans pursue, and this one includes training, either that be a certificate, a bachelor's degree, or even post a bachelor's degree. This is the training track. Okay, and then there's also independent living. With this track is if the veteran's disabilities right now, they cannot work because their disabilities are unstable, they can look into independent living services. Next slide. So what is the entitlement process? So at the initial evaluation, what the counselor will be reviewing is how your service-connected disabilities impact areas of employment. What are the vocational impairments based on the service-connected disabilities? For example, if there's a disability with your back or your knees, what are you limited in doing? If there's any mental health, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, what are the symptoms and how do they impact in areas of every day? Also, we look at, does the veteran have education and training? What are some of the impact of employers' negative perceptions about the veterans or service members' disabilities? Does the veteran have lack of stable employment? Has it been continuing or suitable, etc.? So that's what the VRC will be reviewing with you, with the veteran. Now, veterans also sometimes have non-service connected disabilities. The counselor will also review what are the vocational impairments or limitations. However, for entitlement, the counselor can only look at the limitations stemming from the service-connected disabilities. There has been times when I had interviewed veterans and their non-service connected disabilities were mostly impacting them in terms of employment, but I could only focus on the vocational impairments for their service-connected disabilities for entitlement. Okay, next slide. Now, entitlement process continues. So what the counselor is going to look for is if there is an employment handicap, and this involves how your service-connected disabilities have impacted the areas of preparing, obtaining, or maintaining suitable employment, consistent with the veteran's patterns of measured and demonstrated abilities, aptitudes, and interests. Okay, so your service-connected disabilities have impacted these areas, you would have an employment handicap and you would be entitled to Chapter 31 services. Now, not all veterans are found entitled to Chapter 31 because they have overcome their vocational impairment. They either now have education that will lead to suitable employment, they have transferable skills for suitable employment. The degree that they have will lead, has a positive labor market in terms of suitable employment. If a veteran is not found entitled, the VRC can also refer them to the permanent rehab, as they also provide rehabilitation services. And the next guest will further review DOR. Now, there's also a serious employment handicap, and as I mentioned earlier, which was a 10%, aside from also identifying an employment handicap, there also needs to be a serious employment handicap, and this involves significant impairments from the vocational, from the service-connected disabilities. For example, the service-connected disabilities have impacted other areas. For example, frequent hospitalizations, long periods of unemployment, history of substance abuse, etc. Okay, I'm sorry, my dog's barking. I apologize. Now, veterans do have 48 months of entitlement with Chapter 31. However, if you have utilized any of your benefits, such as your GI Bill Chapter 33, those months would be deducted from the 48 months. So you have 36 months with the GI Bill. Chapter 31 provides an additional 12 for a total of 48. Okay, but if you've used any of your benefits with the GI Bill, they would be subtracted from the 48 months and vice versa. Okay, next slide. Now, plan development, there's different types of plans. As you can see here, there's an ICRP, there's also an IEEP, an independent living plan, also an employment assistance plan as well. Each plan will include a vocational goal, which is towards employment. If there's concerns regarding the veteran's feasibility, readiness for employment, they can develop an extended evaluation plan, and that will also include further evaluating the veteran's feasibility or an independent living services. Each plan also includes objectives, whether that be the IWRP, which is most common, the training plan, and also a combination for the assistance plan. You complete your training, then you look for work. Okay, and each objective, as I mentioned, will include either the degree or certificate that's been approved. That's one objective. Other objective, maintenance of physical and psychological health, continuing your medical appointments, treatments, employment services. If there's a further evaluation of feasibility, it can include the work assessment or IL services. Now, it's also important to know that Chapter 31, the difference between Chapter 33 is that 31 provides 100% of tuition fees, school supplies, and a monthly subsistence allowance. Sometimes veterans are utilizing Chapter 33. Entitlement is based on the time of active duty, and sometimes veterans may only receive 60%. If that's the case and you are service connected, you are found entitled to Chapter 31, and it is approved that you will pursue training, they will cover 100% of your benefit. Veterans may not utilize more than one chapter at a time. If you're currently using your GI Bill and a rehab plan is developed, you cannot formally move onto Chapter 31 paying your training until you complete the semester with the GI Bill. For example, if you're using the GI Bill this fall and you switch over to Chapter 31, that would be either winter or spring. Okay, you can also elect to receive the post 9/11 rates under the Chapter 31 if you have at least one day of your GI Bill. It's recommended that you do not exhaust your GI Bill, at least leave one day, because let's say in the future, if you're not service connected and then you can apply to Chapter 31. And you're entitled and it's approved for training, you have one day, they can match your GI Bill, the post 9/11 rates. Next slide. Case management continued. You will need to submit grades at the end of each term to your counselor. That is a requirement. They want to see how you're doing in school. If you require any software equipment calculators, it has to be required of all students in the same program. You would need to provide a copy of your course syllabus to your counselor. If the equipment or supplies are available at the bookstore, the VRC can submit an authorization to the bookstore. You go to the bookstore, obtain your supplies, then the school bookstore bills the VA. You do not pay anything out of pocket. Computers can also be provided with Chapter 31. Of course, you would need to submit documentation requesting the computer that you need. If a higher end computer is needed for your program, you would need to submit additional documentation to your counselor listing the requirement. For example, if it's on the course syllabus, a letter from the department chair, college catalog, etc. Main thing here is requirement of all students. Okay, next slide. And lastly but not least, then there's employment services. Once you do complete your training program, you would then need to provide a copy of your transcript listing your degree award date. That would be proof of program completion, or a copy of your degree certificate. CSOs, as the school certifying officials, may assist in providing the VRC the documentation that yes, veteran has completed their program. You'd also need to submit your resume. Then your counselor will meet with you to review further information, any financial difficulties, family difficulties that will prevent you from looking for on your job search, health issues, etc. If everything's good to go for you to participate in your job search, then you would be declared job ready. You would be referred to attend a job club that's held by employment coordinators at the LA office remotely. And then also for your active participation in your job search, you do receive 2 additional months of your subsistence allowance. And that's paid in increments of 30 days. First 30 days, you submit your job log to your counselor. These are the jobs that I have applied to. These are the interviews that I have attended. You would also be referred to an EDD representative. They would provide a monthly report to your counselor. The veterans actively participating in their job search. The counselor approves your first EAA payments. After the first 30 days, then your second EAA payment, the full 60 days, continue your job search, job log, etc. And right now, due to the pandemic, 2 additional months are being provided of your EAAs for a total of 4 EAA payments. So once you graduate, you can receive 4 additional months of your monthly allowance. Now, if you were receiving the post 9/11 rates under Chapter 31, those 4 EAA payments would also be the post 9/11 rates. However, it's important that you need to demonstrate that you're actively looking for employment. If you have found employment, then your counselor will monitor your employment, see how you're doing, and if there aren't any new needs. If everything's okay after the 4 months, then you would be rehabilitated. Okay, I think that's it for me. Next slide. Yes, and we'll have, I believe, time for questions afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mara. Appreciate that. Lots of good information on the program. And yeah, questions will come afterwards. So if you have them, just hold on to them, and then we'll have a chance to answer them after. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Department of Rehabilitation. We have Vivian Kimoto, and then I believe Jessica Groves is also on. They will be talking about the Department of Rehabilitation and how they help California veterans throughout the state. So go ahead.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Vivian. I know you had.
Thank you.
I know you had a video to show. Did you want to show the video first and then speak?
I do, but let me just do a quick little introduction really fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hi. So hi, thank you everybody. Thank you for including me and inviting me to join you guys this morning. It is a privilege. Mara, what an amazing presentation. I want to just say ditto to what Mara said, because a lot of what she shared is exactly like what DOR does as well, Department of Rehabilitation. So I'm going to highlight a lot of some of the differences. We are open to all people in the state of California, not just veterans. We're working hard to reach out to veterans to be inclusive. We work collaboratively with the VA and with the VRCs, and the links to encompass and try and do as much wraparound services as we possibly can. While you're watching this is a 3-minute video that DOR recently put out. And I think it's one of the most amazing videos I've seen that we've put out. It encapsulates what we do very well. But while you're thinking about it and you hear the word disability, I want you to also think about, what are my struggles? What are challenges do I have? A lot of times we hear the word disability and we go, oh, that doesn't count to me because I don't have a disability, or I'm only rated this, or it's not service related. We're the ones that are going to look at all of your disabilities, holistic, take care of your whole person. So keep those in mind while you're watching the video. So Michael, if you could show the video.
Yeah.
Welcome to the California Department of Rehabilitation. DOR works in partnership with consumers and other stakeholders to provide services and advocacy in pursuit of employment, independent living, and equality for Californians with disabilities. At DOR, it is our fundamental belief that individuals with disabilities can be fully integrated and highly productive community members, employees, and colleagues. To be eligible for services, an individual must have a physical or mental disability that substantially impedes his or her ability to secure employment, require vocational rehabilitation services to prepare for, secure, retain, or regain employment consistent with the applicant's unique strengths, resources, priorities, concerns, abilities, capabilities, interests, and informed choice. Program participants are expected to be available, responsible, active, and dedicated contributors to their own success. To be equal, a disability is not a limitation. All people with disabilities have the right to work, perform, and contribute to society. Be independent. With a dedicated sense of personal commitment, anyone with a disability can attain a level of independence that not only increases their self-worth, but also minimizes the strain on taxpayer-funded financial support. Be employed. With training and support, an individual with a disability can access new opportunities to have a higher quality of life. We tailor our services to each person individually to ensure a greater chance for success. A vocational rehabilitation team works closely with each job seeker to establish the best combination of services and resources necessary to prepare for, find, and retain employment. Our services include benefits planning, career assessment and counseling, job search and interview skills, independent living skills, career education and training, and assistive technology. Businesses benefit from programs that support the recruitment and hiring of people with disabilities. Hiring an individual with a disability is an opportunity. Employees with disabilities bring unique experiences and understanding that can transform workplaces, products, and services. Several incentives are available, including tax incentives in the form of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit and on-the-job training. Incentives can help cover the cost of accommodations for employees with disabilities. By hiring people with disabilities, employers are the key to DOR's mission. DOR provides education and information to businesses and can help with integration when needed. We believe in the talent and potential of individuals with disabilities. For more information, visit our website at www.dor.ca.gov. or follow us on social media. You can also subscribe to our latest news at www.dornews.org.
Awesome. Thank you. So just to go a little bit further, who we are, we're here to help all people with disabilities in the state of California. So as you're listening to this, you might have an auntie, an uncle, a parent, a child, a sibling, a neighbor who is interested in our services, or who you think might be able to benefit. Have them give us a call as well. You'll be assigned a vocational rehabilitation counselor who will take you from the very beginning all the way to the very end. Our goal is to get you employed in a meaningful employment for you, and whatever that means to you. We match it to your skills, your interests, your abilities. We spend a lot of time in the beginning to help figure out what it is that you want to go in what direction. Now, if you come to us and you know what you want to do because you've been working with a VA, but you're about to expire with your benefits, and we want to continue that on to help take you all the way to the end, that's where we can work collaboratively with the VA and with the VRCs to help take you all the way to the end and finish your goal and help you see you through to the end of your goal, which is employment, right? Everything that we do is individualized. I'm not going to go over the case management part of it because I'm going to say ditto to everything that Maura said. We require all the same things. One of the great things that we could offer the video set is also on-the-job trainings. When you do get to the point where you're in employment services, we offer a stipend to employers to encourage them to hire you and to offset the training that they do. So that's a nice little carrot we can dangle with the employers to help bring you along. There's apprenticeships, there's all different kinds of trainings that we sponsor. How to apply for services. I'm going to talk specifically regionally in Santa Clarita, which is my area, and then statewide. In my area, we're working very closely with Renard Thomas at the VRC. We have a counselor that's in the VRC once a week for their Zoom resource center that you can jump in and talk to him. His name is Gregory Ramos. On Mondays, twice in the day, we have Zoom information sessions that we have a flyer with a QR code that you can get in and talk to live every Monday, 2 times a day, with a counselor and ask them about services and how to apply. This pandemic has brought about, crisis that brings opportunity, right? So we have everything we're doing now is online, via Zoom, via Teams, Microsoft Teams, telephone. Our office is still open. None of our offices have closed. We're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We have limited staff, but we are very available. You can pick up applications. We can email you applications. I believe the VRCs have our digital applications, and I believe they're online as well. You can contact us at any time. The process to get services is down to about 3 to 4 weeks from beginning to end. With the planning process to get into a plan for employment. It's very quick now, and we're here to help you move into your employment needs. The kinds of things that we offer in employment, in vocational rehabilitation services, is once you determine a vocational goal with your counselor, then we support pretty much what's needed to reach that goal. We will help with tuition, books and supplies, with transportation funds, like the VA, if you need a laptop to be able to access the world around you and your classes, because it's no longer a luxury. Everybody has to have a laptop to be able to access the world around them. We will help purchase those. Let's see. I believe we have our deputy director online too, Jessica. Is there anything that you wanted to add, Jessica? Are you on?
Hi, I am. Thank you, Vivian. Hi, everybody. My name is Jessica Grove, and Vivian gave me a promotion. I'm actually the assistant deputy
Sorry.
director. No, it's fine. For the what we call our vocational rehabilitation employment division. So you may know that terminology, vocational rehabilitation, from the prior name for veterans readiness and employment. So like Vivian has said, we do the same thing. And I thought, Vivian, you did a great job of letting people know that, you know, that it's, people hear vocational rehabilitation and disability and they think it has to be something physical perhaps, or maybe they're not quote unquote disabled enough. You know, myself, I'm an individual who experiences depression and anxiety and has a history of substance use disorder. So, you know, that did at times cause impediments to my ability to maintain employment, and it's something that I navigate with my work now in different ways. So if it, even if, again, if you don't have something that is that you see as a disability, or that that you would need our services for, if that disability is something that's service connected and you're getting help through VRNE, great. But we are there, as Vivian said, to work with any Californian with a disability. That creates a barrier to employment. So it may not be something you'd need now, but if something does develop later on, or if you know someone, we're here to partner really and make sure that persons with disabilities are given the supports that they need in order to, like our video said, really take their rightful place in, in sharing their unique gifts and talents towards the betterment of our society as a whole here in California. So really excited to be with you guys today, and I'll be available for the questions and answers as well, but I'll give it back to you, Vivian, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And keep going on a little bit of what Jessica was saying. A lot of times we don't think about, well, I don't have a disability, but I want you guys to think about, are you struggling to, maybe you can get a job, but you can't keep a job? Or do you know someone who, is struggling to get a job? Not so much because there aren't jobs, but they're going to interviews and they're not succeeding. Or, if you think about, something just keeps getting in the way. Well, that something that keeps getting in the way is something that we can help with. And maybe it's something, there's so much, I know we've all been hearing a lot about mental health and where Mara was saying that you might have a physical disability rating for the military, but we're not taking into consideration of the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, the this and that, and perhaps you haven't gone to that, or you don't want it labeled. Come and talk to us. We can certainly, some of you might have heard about DOR. I've been with DOR for 20 years, and we require our documentation, we require words, but we're not. We've given a lot of autonomy to our counselors to use their experience and use their knowledge. So we don't have to have, it's always nice to have paperwork and all that because it gives us a little bit more of a background. And we do like that, but you can talk to our counselors, and if they see that, I can clearly see a history, I can see the barriers, we're going to move forward with you, we're going to help. So that's where a lot of things are progressing and changing with Department of Rehab. If you've worked with us in the past, that has evolved in the last few years, so it's really exciting. So if you are not sure, just give us a call. We have counselors on duty 5 days a week, 8 to 5. Monday through Friday. A lot of us are doing, telecounseling. We can, like I said, in our office, we have an information session on the Zoom that you can drop in on Mondays twice a day. So we can make sure to get that flyer distributed to you. And yeah, don't hesitate. We're here for you. We're here to help the VA and help the VRCs carry the ball and help you see you all your way through to the end, as well as in employment. You might think, well, you know, I just need a little bit of help in employment. We also do something that's called short-term supports, which basically means we can hire somebody to help you, you know, as you get the job and keep the job for the first few month or so to help you make that transition into the employment. So there's lots of different things that we can do to help you out. And on that note, I think I will send it back to Michael, but really, you know, give us a call. We're here for you.
Thank you. And like I said earlier, I appreciate both of you guys jumping on at short notice. You guys were a help, and I appreciate the openness that you bring to the conversation. So thank you. And, you know, one of the things that I hear a lot about DOR, VOC or Veterans Readiness and Employment, and, you know, even disability compensation is that just apply, you know, just go for it. Do it. You never know what could happen. You never know what kind of help you can get. So definitely, I encourage everybody who's interested in these programs or just wants to know more about them, talk with the counselor, see what you can get yourself into. So with that being said, we'll move to the questions and answers panel. I think Jen has been handling our questions to the chat throughout the hour. I'll put this up. This is our contact information. So feel free to write it down, take a picture of it. If you have any questions for any one of the presenters, any personal questions that you'd rather not talk about during this segment, feel free to email them. But if not, Jen, how's the chat going?
So we only have one question in the chat because you guys are really, really good at presenting and giving all the information. But the one question, I think it was answered later. So they sent it early on in the presentation. So I'm pretty sure it was already answered also. But I'm going to just tell you guys what it was anyways. It says, it's from Hayden. And it says, besides vocational rehabilitation, I wanted to pursue my master's degree. Is there a program I can do that would help?
Let's see. Has the veteran used their education benefits already?
I can unmute Hayden and he can speak more directly. All right, Hayden, you are unmuted. Are you there?
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate all the information and just for the time that you all take to provide this. So my question is, I've already used my post 9/11 and I'm actually currently under the vocational rehab right now, but they've only approved me for my bachelor's degree. And so I'm trying to figure out, is there another program that I can go under that where I can go for my master's?
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, I don't know of, especially because you are already taking advantage of the VRE program. Usually when veterans have this question for us, we always tell them to try the VRE program. So in your situation, you know, it sounds as if you've utilized your education benefits already. You're in the process of utilizing your VRE benefits. Unfortunately, there wouldn't be anything through CalVet, and I believe there wouldn't be anything through the VA that would be able to fund your education any longer, especially because you've exhausted the benefits.
Okay.
Hayden, just I'm not sure what your major is, but there's also through the VA is called the STEM scholarship. And the STEM scholarship does provide an additional 9 months of benefits from the GI Bill. But your degree would have to be a STEM major, usually requiring 120 units, and most likely would probably be like a bachelor's degree. But the STEM scholarship is also for if you are pursuing a teaching credential.
Okay. No, my degree is in business management with HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to mention also was that during the presentation was that with VRE, they would train the veterans up to the point where they're not employable to enter that field. So if the field that's been identified that's suitable matches your interests and your aptitudes, and you only require, for example, the bachelor's to enter that field, then that's what they would train the veteran for. There are career fields that do require specifically a master's degree to enter the field. Then that's when that would be something that, well, the veteran requires the master's for this field that has been approved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think DOR may have something to say as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, Vivian does have some information.
Thank you.
Jessica, did you want to take that one?
I just thought we were all kind of saying, hey, we can help there, but Vivian, why don't you handle it?
All right.
And
All right. So similar to what Mara said, first of all, Hayden, if you think that you would qualify for Department of Rehab Services because you have struggles and barriers, then absolutely call us. This is where we do come in when your VA benefits start running out, we can help pick up the ball. So like Mara said, if you're going for a job that requires that master's to be fully employed, that would maximize your employment and be able to really help you be successful, then we would pick up the ball and help you with that master's degree without a problem, and continue that on. So I would encourage you to contact, if you're local in Santa Clarita, give us a call, jump in on our Monday orientation, call our office, talk to Reynard at the COC, and he'll get you connected with us. But yes, if your job goal is to be a welder, we're not going to put you through for a master's degree, right?
Right.
But if you're we would do what's appropriate for a welder with the tools and the this and and all that. But if your job goal is for the MBA and it's to go into business administration, we would go in that direction with you and continue that on and help you reach the end of your goal.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Great, Vivian, thank you. I also wanted to add, this is Jessica again. One of the things that changed a few years ago for us on the federal landscape is that we can also work with what's called advancement in employment. So even if you're working, it doesn't mean that you can't come to DOR for services, right? So if you are working, but your intention is to break through those barriers and have greater employment, then that's something that we can work with too. So don't be afraid, like just because you're working and you're working towards a goal, that you can't get services from us. We can do both things simultaneously now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Great. So the next question is, it's coming from Cindy. She says, my dad is 92 in a home in Barstow, was in the service from 1946. Any info for him? So I can say that there is an archived webinar that was for elder veterans that I believe is on our website. If not right now, it will be on today. So I would recommend that. I can put that in the chat for the link for where the archives are once again. Do you have anything to follow up on that, Michael?
No, I think that's probably the extent of what we have right now. And unless Anthony might know of any outside resources.
What were they specifically looking for the veteran?
I can unmute Cindy. Okay, I've just unmuted you, Cindy. Are you there?
Okay, yes, hi.
Okay, great.
I just thought I could look up that webinar for him. He's actually going to the VA in Loma Linda today, looking toward having surgery. So he's been very healthy. He's 92, but he's very, very healthy. So other than the need for this surgery right now. So they've been on shutdown because of COVID in Barstow. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he's going to be able to get what he needs in Loma Linda at his appointment today.
Yeah, ma'am, there shouldn't be any reason why he can't get the VA services that he needs. I know that on the, both on the federal and state level, the senior vets are a priority to us because they are, vulnerable to COVID. And also on every CalVet veteran home property, there is an individual whose job it is to help maximize their benefits. So in other
Yeah.
words, they would work with them on just ensuring that maybe they might apply for more benefits that they may be eligible for.
He, yeah, he's very deaf, and he told me to listen to this today because he got a notice about it. But he's down at his doctor appointment, so he couldn't, and he's very deaf anyway, so he asked me to listen for him. So,
So I would say that if he feels something that some service he's not getting, I would have him start with the administrator of the home is there to help. They have a number of nurses and facilitators, and even someone there that can help them to apply for further VA benefits.
Okay.
They would, that they're strategically close to Loma Linda for that very reason, so they can access that as they need them.
Thank you very much.
Cindy, as well, if your father is at least service connected 10% or more, they, as I mentioned, they also do have with Chapter 31 independent living services. Well, independent living services through Chapter 31 is if veterans cannot work right now and they have independent living needs that cannot be provided through the VA hospital, then Chapter 31 BRNE can possibly provide those services to the veteran.
Okay, thank you. I'll have him check that out. He's living at the home in Barstow.
Oh, okay.
So he's got all of that already.
Okay.
He needs surgery right now, and he's going down for that appointment today.
Okay.
So he just told me to listen to this because he's like I said, he's very deaf, and he can't hear. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope his surgery goes well.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Good.
So, Cindy, if you would like, why don't you put your email in the chat, and I can email you once the link for the elder veterans video is up and ready.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I don't have any other questions on here, Michael. If you you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Cool. All right. Yeah, it looks like we're right on time too. So before we go, first off, I just want to say there is a link for a survey in the chat. Check that out. That kind of input does help us out with making these a better experience for you guys. Like I said, we've been doing the webinar since March or April. So it's still a work in progress. We're still working out the kinks, and those surveys definitely help us with those issues. I'm also showing you a upcoming webinars page. These are some of the webinars that we have coming up this month of December. As you can see, we have a bunch of different topics coming up. We have a discharge upgrade one coming up next week, employment, entrepreneurship, filing claims. And then there's also one tomorrow for navigating the stresses of distance learning. And if you look at that first one, it does say Riverside Community College. You do not have to be a student to attend any one of these workshops. So you could just simply go to our registration page and register there. And hope to see you soon. I'll leave the Zoom meeting going for a little bit longer, just in case there are those that do want to find that survey link. But if you are not planning on doing the survey, then thank you for attending today. Thank you for being here. I hope you have information that you could take with you, and pass along to your friends. And please, for any questions that you have about CalVet or the CalTAP program or any one of our speakers, do not hesitate to reach out. With that being said, you guys are all good to go. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Have a great
Michael.
day.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Vivian.
Thanks,
See
everybody.
y'all.
Thank you to all the
Bye.
presenters. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Laura.
Goodbye.